Man, we gonna move on to the big one. The big one that
Oh
became
yeah.
the biggest movie last
Okay.
year. And I literally just came from the house from seeing like for the third time already, bruh. I ain't gonna
That
lie, bruh.
man.
This one,
Yeah,
It
bruh.
was.
I'm gonna try to break
let me
this
do this
down.
one thing real quick.
Right. I'm gonna try to break this down from the beginning. We're gonna do a first half, second, and third half of this, bruh. Cause Simon, bro, you already know what we about to be on with this one, bruh. So, we already know how the first one start off, bruh. With
Yeah.
we know his identity is revealed. It starts off right off from Far From Home. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So he obviously trying to figure out how he's there we go. That's he's trying to figure out how he's trying to get out of the situation. So
Exactly.
obviously he needs to find a way to go MIA. So obviously Aunt May is the first choice he got to go to. So once he
Yep.
figures that out, he got I believe that's Damage Control that comes after him. Was Damage Control was from the first movie from Far From Home, which was trying to take all the Stark tech and all like that from the beginning when Vulture and
Yeah.
all like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, so that was actually the first people that came, which kind of makes sense because they obviously knew that he had to be connected to Stark or any type of thing, especially they knew he was Spider Man. So I'm like, they immediately just went for him, just like let's just take him, just you know what I'm saying. So they immediately trying to find a way to keep him in, and then a bigger one, of the biggest reveals on this movie, Matt Murdock, which once we knew Kingpin. When I seen Kingpin, bro, I said it has to be that Daredevil that got to come in next, bro. Matt Murdock has to come in next, bro. And it's perfect how he came in as
Yeah.
his lawyer, bro, because and most people know like Daredevil, Matt Murdock from the comics, bro. Like he's mainly if it ain't She-Hulk, it's the lawyer. It's damn near Matt Murdock. He's damn near everybody's lawyer,
Yeah.
bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
he always trying to make sure he's trying to get everybody on their feet. You know what I'm saying? So when they showed him, bro,
Yeah.
I immediately was like, especially when it was Charlie Cox, I was like, oh, bro, it's on now, bro. Like it's about to go down, bro. Like
Heck
so,
yeah.
I just like I just they just
We
showed.
just introduced him for that little scene. But
Right, that's all we needed. Right, let just
That's
show
all
how
we
like
needed.
let just show his little senses. You know what I'm saying? Let just show you know what I'm saying. He got a little skill, bruh. You know what I'm saying? That we ain't got to show too much. We can show him as a lawyer right now. We got to show the Matt Murdock side. We'll see the Daredevil side eventually. We gonna see that for sure, bruh. But man, bruh. Yeah, bro. That first half, bro. I loved every. That's why I'm like, this is like the first Spider movie in terms of like the Tom Holland ones where I'm like, every half of the movie I loved it, bro. It was some with the last ones I was kind of like, you know what I'm saying, iffy about it, bro. But this one, I'm like, bro. I don't know why I did not like about this, bro. On some real shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. It was every scene. It's hitting me with nostalgia moments or just like crazy references. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, man, bro. But I'm about to say, I know you. Let me let y'all go in before I go talk too much, bro. What y'all gotta say about this, bro?
Man, it was too many. It was just I don't know. Like they say, too good to be true. Except for it was true. No,
Right.
but for real, man. I mean, from the beginning of the movie, man, I was intrigued, bro. I was excited the fact that we really got not just all the Spider-Mans, man, but all the original Spider-Man and the actual characters, and like villains, everybody else, man. It was great. And I mean, the way the movie was set up, man, was just even better too. Like there was nothing, like no wrong thing I could say about this movie, man. Like everything was on point. Like we seen McGuire and Garfield like redeem themselves completely. Even though like I always like both of them a lot, so I never hated on them or like thought they were bad actors or nothing. Like they did great with what they had. But it was great to like really see like them all, like all three of them, and what they could do together come to fruition. Like that was dope to me. And yeah, man, it's a lot.
Man, bro, it's
It's
a
a
lot,
lot,
bro. I'm
man.
already knowing, bro. It's a lot you gotta take in with this one, bro. I'm already knowing.
Yeah.
Man, then what you
I
think,
mean,
Deontay, bro? I'm about to say you still got more to say. It's all my fault.
no, I'm good. Go ahead.
No, Tay gonna touch up on
Okay.
that.
There's a lot to be said about this.
Yeah, bro.
I was choose from beginning to the end. I ain't gonna lie, I damn near cried.
Bro,
I'm not even
don't get
I'm
me
not even
started
gonna
how many times I
front.
was crying,
Damn near cried.
bro.
Yeah, it was that
I,
good.
I damn near cried when Aunt May died. I damn near cried when Strange had to actually complete the spell and wipe everybody's memory.
Bruh, that was crazy.
Like, look. I've always said it. I'm like, okay, Tom Holland is the best all-around Spider-Man and Peter Parker. In my opinion, he's the best all-around.
Yeah.
But when you introduce Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield,
Yep.
it makes you appreciate what they did.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. Here's how well this movie did. Our son literally went to the Apple TV and wanted to buy the original 3 Spider-Man movies. And in one day he watched all 3.
Bruh. That's what that
It was
Sam Raimi
like that.
bruh. Yes, bruh.
It did its
So that's the
job.
thing. So like you said, the fact that Daredevil was in it, the fact that I almost cried when Andrew Garfield saved MJ, and he was because I was like, yo, you know what that meant.
Bruh. That hit me,
You know
bro.
what that meant.
That was like one of the most heartfelt scenes right there, bro.
Bruh. Like, bruh. I mean, like when I went to go see it, bruh, people was yelling and screaming and crying, bruh, because, bruh, it was so like,
That scene was deep,
bruh,
bro.
that scene was so many, bro, because literally, I mean, obviously we all know what happened, bro. Like he was fighting Hobgoblin. He was too late. Boom, Miss Gwen, she died right there in front of him.
Right.
The fact that he was like, "I'm not letting this happen again,"
Yeah,
bruh.
bro. It's
that
like a
was
redemption. It
crazy.
was like a
To not-
redemption, bro.
Bruh, to obviously, I mean, it wasn't his female, but he knew like this is another Peter Parker, and this is Gwen to him what she was to me, bro. Like that was crazy to me, and like the way he did it so effortlessly.
Right, bro. That was
That
so
was
amazing, bro. All right, I'm about to say.
And let me say this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
The fact that they actually brought in Toby and Andrew for this. Tell me this. Tell me Sony cannot spin this off and give Andrew Garfield another movie.
Yes.
Tell me that since we had Venom at the end, that's it. I'm gonna get into that one later, but tell me with that alone, that's not him possibly in Andrew Garfield's universe. That's also gonna probably go along with some Morbius.
Yep.
And now keep this in mind too. Could this actually be entwined with Loki's story with the TVA, to where there are different variants, which is why when he was like, wait, where's your web shooter? Oh, this. And they was like, dude, it just shoots out of your hand like that. He's like, what? You guys don't do that? He's like, no, we gotta make them. Like, just from that information alone, it's like, yo, it's a whole new different thing now, because that alone incorporates what the multiverse is. It's because they're all the same, yet they're different. And I was actually telling my wife about this earlier too. I think I was telling her about it yesterday. The reason why, like all these villains were starting to come in, and why the different Spider-Man were there, is because look at Kang from Loki, right? Or He Who Remains, I'll say. There's the different variants of him out there.
Exactly.
But what links them together? I think there's like a multiverse DNA that's deep in there that links them all together, but yet it makes them different.
Yeah.
And I put this up there with there's a cartoon movie called Ninja Turtles. It's called like Turtles Forever or something like that. And Shredder is basically trying to figure out where this place is called Turtle Prime, because there's a total of 8 turtles in this one universe. So he was like, okay, I need these 4, We're going to figure out what's in their DNA that makes them link, and we're going to find this place called Turtle Prime. So now with that being said, if you look at part of the rift that was happening at the end, and you see all the villains, they're not all villains. Some of them are actually, it could be Miles Morales, it could be Gwen Stacy, it could even be Madam Web, because Madam Web is actually what connects all the Spider-Man together. Not Peter Parker, Spider-Man. That's why you're able to see Miles Morales, Spidey-Gwen, Spider-Man 2099. You're able to see all of that. So I'm like, yo, with that being said, we could get another Spider-Man movie that has Madam Web.
Oh yeah.
Like you do not know how well Sony could play this off right now. You do not know how well they could do this.
Right, bro.
That's how great this movie was, and that's why after this one, Multiverse of Madness had to be next. It had to be next.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, because I was reading on this movie, like how this movie was based off a comic that, based off like comic fans, wasn't really reviewed as good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot what the name exactly was. But it was basically like how Peter had to go to Doctor Strange and put a spell on it to make everything, like, basically everybody forget about he was Peter. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how it's like they made a movie work with a comic, the comic story that wasn't reviewed as really as good. You know what I'm saying, by comic book fans, and they just made a way to make it work in live action. That was pretty dope. But like, it's crazy, like how, like you said, even from the Loki, when we seen the variants, bruh, I immediately thought of Spider-Man when I seen variants of Loki, bro. That was the first that came in my mind, bro. Was like, what we could see, like, different versions of, like, the characters we already loved before. Like, that was immediately coming to mind. So the fact we got this, I'm like, see, it seemed like each show and each movie, we getting big reveals, right? So this is like the biggest reveal we probably got so far since, like, I'll say dinner since Endgame, you know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of, like, the big crossover reveals, you know what I'm saying? But, like, but I'm saying, like, this Doctor Strange one, bro, I'm about to go there with this one, bro. We for surely see either the X-Men or Fantastic Four next, for surely, bro. It has to be. And it possibly can be the Fox version, like the ones that we know. It can be possibly Hugh Jackman. It can be Professor X, the dude from Star Trek, that version of Professor X. Like, it could be like the ones that we, you know what I'm saying, we seen from before, you know what I mean? So I'm like, that would be crazy. We see that.
Not to cut you off, because you do remember on Days of Future Past how feeling there was two sides of the story of the future. The future of everything's destroyed. Magneto and Charles had to team up and all that. And then there's the future that they built that, he told them, go get Jean, Scott, Storm, make sure you teach us and all that. And then when he came back, he was, my past is way different from yours. And then that's when we have a lot to talk about. So that possibly could be the leak from hella long ago that probably could be joining in right now.
Yeah, they gonna have to show some way they can show ways to connect for sure. But like I said, with this multiverse, bro, like there's different ways you can try to bring these characters in, because like these villains gonna cause some type of effect where they have probably no choice but to team up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll probably have to come down to that. Especially if we know, like, Wanda, we already see how powerful she is, bruh. Especially if she got the power for the Darkhold, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and it shows that Doctor Strange not the Sorcerer Supreme no more, so we got to figure out how he gonna get that type of power back, you know what I'm saying? Or just learn just to get, you know what I'm saying, to beat all these villains, bruh. Because it's hella villains he got to deal with, bruh. It's not just Wanda. He still got Mordo out there. He still got to deal with them, like, them long arm dude, whatever that little creature is, bruh. It's a lot of things he got to deal with, bro.
He probably, no, I ain't gonna say that. I mean, I watched the trailers. I mean, it might be bullshit trailers I'm watching, but one of them did say he could be possibly facing his evil self.
No, y'all. Hey, I was about to say, bro, you could be on point with that, bro. I'm gonna be 100 with you, bro.
So
that's the thing, because that trailer.
We could possibly get that. The what if?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, though.
You on point with that one, man, bro.
That's what I'm saying. The post-credit scene that was for No Way Home, where it's Doctor Strange talking to Wanda, all that's real.
Yeah,
all of that is real.
Yeah, I was just thinking, bro.
And that's what I'm saying, though. But let me keep it up on Spider-Man real quick, though. Let me ask y'all this, though. Let me ask y'all this.
Get it on us.
Tell me that this version of Peter Parker now is not about to be so close to the comic reference, because what is it now? He's gonna be on his own.
Yep.
He's like, not only that, he's got to get his GED. Did you notice the GED book is there? So he's not even in school now. He is literally on his own.
Yeah.
So he's really about to get like a full like life kick and everything. Like, bro,
This
about to
movie
get
represented this title
full.
for real. This movie really represented this title for real.
I'm going to say it really does come down to which Spider-Man Venom choose to portray. That's what it's really going to come down to. Because
But it's still
I
hella
think
villains they gonna
because
use.
one, but I ain't gonna hold take, like, although this ain't into the Spider-Verse, but I do think the Peter Parker that this one is becoming is the one like from that movie, how he lost MJ, he lost his family, and he went to the Spider-Verse and went with Miles Morales, but you feel me? You see he was old. Looked like it was time for him to hang up the damn suit.
Oh, so you
I think the Spider-Man that was in the Spider-Verse, I think that's the Tobey Maguire version.
Yeah, I was just about to say, but I think it's
Yeah.
that Toby because they already kind of explained he kind of experienced version of Peter Parker, so it's like he would most likely be. And plus, at this point we seen enough where it's like we could close that version chapter of Peter Parker at this point now, like where we seen about like 4 or 5 films of him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, everybody else didn't really get their redemption story compared to Toby. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that would be a perfect way to end him off.
That's kind of why I figured that the one in Miles that was in Spider-Verse is the Tobey Maguire one, because in his intro when he was like, yeah, like, and I even did that one crazy dance. That's why I was like, oh, that's a complete reference to Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
With that emo Peter Parker. So that's why I'm like, okay, so there's that. But I did think that Into the Spider-Verse could very well potentially, I thought that was going to actually be incorporated in No Way Home. With the whole rifts and everything, I thought it was going to be intertwined with each other, but it wasn't. I'm actually glad it wasn't. I'm like, no, let them keep that over there.
Yeah.
But keep this, like what you guys are doing with this right now is fantastic. Nobody gets Sinister Six, but it doesn't mean that we won't.
And technically, it was 6 villains in the movie, but we didn't see them team up. Yeah, I'm about to say it was 6 villains in the movie, but we just didn't see them all interact with each other technically. So it's like, we gotta see.
Because Venom wasn't there to interact with it,
right? So it's like, but it's like the fact we got our 3 Spider-Man. I'm like, I'd rather take that. I'm like, to be honest, I'm like, we don't have to get on full, but it's like you said, you see what they building up, bro. You see they kind of building up to that point. But my really thing is like where you see all these motives behind all these villains, because that's the main thing that I think that was like the first big reveal out of all of this was the villains. Like when they showed Doc Ock, like, you know what I'm saying, his arms and everything like that. Like them was like the big reveals, and I love how they brought back like all the original ones, like the ones that had the crazy like death redemptions, or the ones we felt like that didn't necessarily get their redemption as like villains. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really get that finished arc.
Right.
So like I like how they brought back 2 characters from the Sam Raimi ones when we looked at. They kind of had like I don't want to say they overcame their odds, but they kind of like the plan they was going for. They kind of finished it. You know what I'm saying? Like he got to build that machine. You know what I'm saying? It just went too wrong to a point he had to sacrifice himself. You know what I mean? And he was Osborn. You know what I'm saying? He lost everything, but he found that great power where he wasn't in depression no more. You know what I'm saying? He had that Green Goblin where he felt like he was just in control, where he had too much power, everything where nothing else didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how they brought that back into there. Then you got Electro in the Lizard, where from that major, we all know from that major Spider-Man, it just wasn't it's criticized as good in terms of the movie and the villains. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like and I love how they did that, because it seemed like this movie was more of a redemption on the major Spider-Man story more than anything. Because like if you look at the things that the Tom Holland Spider-Man was going through, it was kind of similar to what, you know what I'm saying, what Andrew was going through too when he was falling into that rage. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't really get to know what was going on with Andrew after, you know what I'm saying, he got into it with Electro. So it was cool that Andrew got to really like show that you know what I'm saying, that emotional side of like why I don't want you to turn this way. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through this. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty dope, because he's like that middle brother. Because it seemed like he shined a lot in this movie, but it shows the reason why. And I'm glad they did that, because he was not like I said, like I wasn't really a fan of the movies, but it's him. I mean, I never had a problem with him playing Spider-Man. It was just the villains in like the movies, and that's not his fault, bro. That's just like that's the directors, however they made that, bro. That's not his fault, bro. Yep. So I'm glad they really brought him in to show just how appreciated he is as Spider-Man for real, for sure, because he deserved that for sure.
And you know what? I was thinking about something too. So when you heard each villain talk about what was happening to them as they got pulled into that universe, each one of them was about to die, right? Because it was like, oh damn, like I was fighting Spider-Man and then I got stabbed with my own thing, so I was about to die. Like, yeah, I had the power of the sun in my hand, and then I was drowning. I was about to die. Sandman wasn't about to die, but Venom did.
Yeah.
Yet, Doc Ock knew that Green Goblin died.
Yeah, he knew. Yeah,
He
he had
knew
to know.
that.
'Cause he basically took over after he died in the first one. Yeah.
Yep.
So then when you look at it, so now look at Amazing Spider-Man. There was the Lizard. It was like, okay, he was in jail. He didn't die though. But Electro was like, okay, I was about to die, but now he has a whole new look. And then Andrew Garfield was like, yeah, like you were saying, he's like, yeah, I stopped pulling my punches, meaning he was just in that rage. So it's like, okay, what is it when like, you know, when Strange was doing like each of the lines, it was like it was pulling them from different. It's pulling it from the same universe, but at a different time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's weird how he pulled Green Goblin and Doc Ock at the same time, but if at one point Green Goblin was supposed to be dead, how did you pull him while also pulling him? You know, it's kind of weird.
I was about
Right?
to say because if you remember the spell because you remember when he was doing the spell, Peter was saying too much stuff, and he said if you tamper with the spell, a lot of things can go wrong. And if you think of a lot of things that Peter Parker was saying, it could have been things that the other Peters was probably going through too, just as same as him. You know what I'm saying? So that could have probably put an effect on that spell that made everything and all these villains come to effect. Cause like some of the villains knew who MJ was, most of them knew who, like I'm saying, who MJ, who Aunt May was. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that spell, like when he was just tampering with it, that kind of put an effect, and he kept, you know what I'm saying, taking it out and redoing it, like. Just him just doing it randomly, that kind of just probably just made it coincidentally just made them come by at that time. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was going to get into, because now look at Venom and then look at the trailer for Morbius. The trailer for Morbius, now mind you, the trailer came out 2 years ago initially, and that was when we had Vulture.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is going to be somehow set in the MCU. But also, he's walking past the Spider-Man mural, and it says murderer on it. So it's like, okay, how is this working out? Because it's in MCU, but he's not a murderer. So what's happening here? Then it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's because of Mysterio, but we don't fully know that. But then now, you got this new trailer, and he's like, who are you? And he goes, I'm Venom. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just Dr. Morbius. How can I help you? And it's like, so wait, hold on. How do we get Venom into this now? So it's like, okay, is this Morbius movie going to be taking place during No Way Home? Is it after? Before? Like, how is that working out? Because now with Venom, he's there. He's in the MCU now. Because he got pulled as Eddie Brock was going back. Going back to his own timeline. But with Morbius, it's like... Like, you know, it's got that, how can I say? It's got that Days of Futures Past confusion to it a little bit.
Right, yeah.